What's going on, guys? Matt over here with Lethal Garage, and today I want to talk about the 2020 Camaro in the new Rally Green. Is it the Rally Green of old, or are they going to come up with something new? Let's talk about it. I first want to point out, yes, it's gray now, but my second gen Camaro started life as antique green. So you could say I have owned a green Camaro, or own a green Camaro. That's not so green anymore. The door jambs are still green. But as many of you guys know, GM has kind of had an off and on love affair with green Camaros. It really started in the first gen and got hot and heavy in the second gen, almost completely disappeared in the third gen, came back a little bit in the fourth gen, and fifth gen got a couple, and it looks like now the sixth generation will have a couple color greens. But the ones that truly stand out are gonna be the Rally Green color. So if you guys haven't heard, GM is planning to release a new color in 2020. We have no idea what it looks like. They haven't shown us a car. Basically, they kind of photoshopped a lot of the 2019 marketing images with the updated front fascia for the 2020 car. Obviously, we've seen Shock. I don't really consider Shock a green. I think it's more of a yellow, but as far as we know, in the sixth generation, well, what we do know, Krypton Green has been the only green thus far that has hit the market. It came and went very quickly, and now we have a new Rally Green coming. Now, one will think, and one will do, same thing with the orange colors that has happened with, that recently came out with the Hot Wheels Camaro and the Copo and all that stuff, is that GM has gone back to their roots a little bit. Now, if you guys didn't notice, or maybe you did notice, it seems like the 2019 colors got a little more pastel. And in general, if you look at what Rally Green was back in the 60s, because that's when it rolled out, I believe it was 67 and no, not 67. Oh, gotta look at my list. I made my list of all the greens, so I didn't mess up, and I totally messed up. Now, there was two Rally Greens. 1968 was Rally Green, but it was spelt a little bit differently. They put an E at the end, R-A-L-L-Y-E Green, and then they changed that name to the actual spelling of Rally Green, R-A-L-L-Y Green, in 1969. These two colors are very similar. I don't think they're the same. Maybe it's the color in the lighting, I don't know, but they definitely seem like they're a little bit different. Now, fast forward to 2020, could the new Rally Green be a throwback to the 68, 69 setup? Maybe. It's kind of a pastelish color. I would say Krypton Green was kind of a pastel green in its own right, but it almost looks like it's a little bit darker than the Krypton Green that we got earlier. But overall, you know, it's an interesting color. I'd love to know what you guys think. There's been a lot of kind of conjecture in .com and also just on Instagram and Twitter, etc., where people are kind of chiming in on what they think the color could be. Now, there's been a ton of greens. There's been a ton of very pretty greens, and I'm going to read off just a couple and kind of go through some of the greens that I've liked over the years, kind of thinking up this video idea. And I was like, you know what? I wonder how many different green Camaros there's been, and I wonder which one's my favorite. All that being stated, I'm going to kind of jumble off a couple different ones and kind of go through the generations of cars and talk about the colors or lack thereof of green colors, etc. Now, keep in mind, I'm not talking about teals. I'm not talking about greenish blues. I'm going to highlight a couple here because I think in the fourth generation there's definitely one to make a note of that looks very green, but the color itself is not called green or doesn't have green in the name. But let's just get right to the top of it. So 1967, we saw the very first green that hit Camaro, the Mountain Green. The color was a really clean look, and it was the first time green saw the Camaro. It also was the first year Camaro, so there wasn't a ton of colors. In 68, they rolled out five different green colors. British Green, Grecian Green, Rally Green, Sea Frost Green, and Sequoia Green. Now, Sequoia Green, in my opinion, is a really clean color. At least in this image, it looks really nice. Also, the Sea Forest Green, also a really nice color. But again, the Rally Green here, that could possibly be an inspiration to the 2020 Camaro. Now that being stated, we jump to 69 and we see the Fathom Green, the Frost Green, the Rally Green. And again, this looks a little bit different than the 68. It could just be this image that I was able to find. But this is the Rally Green that is spelt the same as a Rally Green they've announced. I should have done some digging to see if GM has a trademark on the color. They might, and that's why they're bringing back that color under that name. But this Rally Green is... you know, it's a good green. Is it the best green out there? I don't know. I would have loved to have seen like the Sequoia or the Sea Frost Green make a comeback, but maybe this generation just isn't into greens yet. As far as the 70s happen, there's just a crazy mix of greens here. And I'm going to flash a whole bunch of images of the colors as I read through these. But they seem to have changed it up quite a bit in the early years, the 70 through the 74s. And then it's like they just gave up at the end of the 70s. And going into the 80s third gen, it was like green just straight up disappeared. But in 70, they had the citrus green, the forest green, the green mist, 71 antique green, cottonwood green, and lime green. In 72, we had the Gulf green, the Sequoia green, and the spring green. 73, the dark green, the light green, the green gold, and the midnight green. They got really, really good with the naming. But I couldn't actually find an image of a light green 73 Camaro. I was easily able to find the dark green and the green gold. Midnight green was a little harder. I found a Z28 here, but light green, that seems to have eluded me. 74, the bright green and the medium green, and then from there they just kind of went with medium greens and dark greens and lime greens and more medium and dark blue green and etc, etc. And in 81 there was literally no greens whatsoever. That was the last year of the second gen. Now we go from 1982 to 1991. It was literally just a dry spell, no greens. And then finally in 92 they brought us the dark green gray and then the polo green 2. And then we jumped to the fourth gen, and they really gave us 3 different colors. And this is what I was going to call it, the metallic teal. So the metallic teal very much looks like a green color, but it's not. It's teal. That being said, the dark green gray and the polo green were the primary colors for the 4th generation. And then as many of you guys know who are 5th gen owners or have seen the 5th gens, Synergy green was the big green color to make a combat early on in the 5th gen, and it carried on through quite a few years, and then it got retired, and then they replaced it with the green flash, which a lot of people were kind of like, meh, I don't know about that. Jumping into the 6th gen, we got the Krypton green, and then now potentially the Rally green. So that's a lot of greens for Camaro. All that being said, you know, I kind of highlighted the greens that I like. They all came from the 2nd generation. I wonder why. I definitely do not like the antique green that this car was in its original life. But it's kind of funny because my wife and I, and a lot of people have asked, like, oh, what color are you going to paint the 2nd gen? We're kind of leaning towards a tealish, greenish style color. And I never thought I would do that, but I think even after seeing the Seafoam green and a couple of the other greens out there, I kind of like it, but I think I'm going to go with more of a satin teal color, something like that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Either or, let me know down in the comments below whether you owned one of these Camaros in the past, if you want to own one in the future, you're looking to repaint your car. Is green a color on your docket? Are you guys excited to see what the 2020 Rally Green Camaro is going to look like? I know I am. I'm very interested to see what kind of green they're going to come out with, and I think they'll show it, or at least have it available or showing it off at Camaro Fest, because it seems like GM is going to be showing up to Camaro Fest in July, showing off the new 2020 Camaros. Probably have the LT1, probably have the new 2020s with the front grille facelift and all that greatness. It's going to be a good time. I'm going to be headed my way out to Bowling Green, Kentucky, as long as all the stars align. That is the plans right now. I will definitely do videos on these cars up close and personal. But with that being said, green is green, and I'm going to leave this with a note. How many different colors of green did GM create over all the years of Camaro? So 1967 to 2002, and then 2000, I guess you could say 9 or 10, 2010 model year, 2010 to current. So even count the 2020 Rally Green. How many different colors? I'll let you know. It starts with a 4, but I'm not going to say what the other digit is. So post your comment below. Let me know what you guys think. First person to get it right, I don't know. Maybe I'll send you a green Lethal Camaro decal. But all that being said, thanks for checking out the video, guys. And until next time, hope to see you on the road.